So, it is no secret to anyone that the Battlefield franchise has burned all its trust that we may have had with it, especially with the release of Battlefield 2042. However, as I've been covering the build up to the next game, things might be changing. Now, before we jump into the main juice of this video, I want to get a few things out the way. If you guys want more content from me, please consider hitting that subscribe button and bell to be notified when I do drop more content. Expect more and more Battlefield stuff as we get closer to the next installment. And most importantly, I urge you guys to hold your ground about getting quote-unquote hyped for the next game. This will vary per person. The news has been great, but let's wait until we get a solid Battlefield before we dare say Battlefield is back. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the recent news. So the following information comes from Tom Henderson, and a link to the article will be posted in the description and in the pinned comment. The main discussion for this video will be around the so-called playtesting that is apparently going on with the next Battlefield game. Now, in the article, sources say that playtests with external players are happening much more frequently than in past installments, and the amount of data and feedback collected is the most the franchise has seen in its history. It continues on from small feedback sessions to large-scale player tests. Battlefield is now taking the much needed player-first approach. This again is great news, and I cannot tell you how important playtesting is. One thing was very clear with Battlefield 2042 and even elements of Battlefield 5. Playtesting was starting to get less and less and becoming not so much of a focus, or at the very least wasn't taken seriously in scale compared to what they thought was acceptable. Now, there was an update to this article to continue on with some stuff with playtesting, and there was an update January 24th. Insider Gaming understands that playtests are ramping up again ahead of some big announcements for the game in the coming months. It is understood that playtests will test the game's multiplayer and ripple effects free-to-play battle royale offering. So, yes, playtesting is continuing and happening frequently, and I do think that this is massive to reiterate. If Battlefield maintains this quote-unquote player-first approach and learns from player feedback, then we will most likely, at least hopefully, get a game that could be in line with something we experienced with Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. A lot of times, especially with the recent Battlefield games of 1, of 5, and especially 2042, maybe not so much 1, but there was a lot of complaints about the game feeling unfinished, a lot of changes or issues that weren't present in the last game, now present in the new game, and they had to revert and do things that should have been already fixed and solved and not really done. A lot of that can come to production stuff, but playtesting. One of the best times of Battlefield 4 was the CTE environment or community test environment. That was a great mode for Battlefield, and it led to, at least in my opinion, one of the best polished versions of the game being the later half of Battlefield 4. It's exciting. One thing that they do need to do besides playtest is have a very competent content pipeline. And what I mean by that is playtesting is great. It is definitely a right step, but I hope along with playtesting and getting the kinks out, they are getting a good understanding of what the content needs to shape up for the post-launch service. That's one thing I guess you could say Battlefield has lacked a lot of, is ever since they switched to the live service model and they went away from DLCs, I feel like we have gotten less content over time. So at least in the current state, the playtesting is great, looking good on that end. Just hopefully it leads to a better production pipeline, a better overall game itself. But again, they are doing something that they clearly did not do with 2042, and that's thanks to Vincent Pella at least having his finger on the pulse. So hopefully things are good on that end. But in general, quick little news update, nothing too crazy. Really want to follow up and emphasize the importance of playtesting here. I do think that it is an important topic to talk about with Battlefield, especially with the fact that our trust could be so low right now, but hopefully things work out in the good end. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video and found this video informative, please be sure to drop this video a like. Helps out the video a ton. And of course, for more content for myself, like I said before, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified for when I do drop more content. With that being said, hope you guys have a good one. Thank you guys for watching. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.